This week on the show, Super Bowl leftovers with 98.5 The Sports Hub's Mike Riley. A Boston legend gets immortalized, and Alex Lebwitz's wild weekend on Twitter. All that and more coming up. Calling It starts right now. Alex Barth, Alex Lebwitz with you on the Callin' It podcast, powered by CLNS. A week removed from Super Bowl 52 when the Patriots lost to the Eagles. That being said, we've had some time to settle, some time to think about it, and a lot we didn't get to talk about last week on the show, retaining to the game and kind of what happens next for the Patriots. So let's get into it now. Joining us on the phone from 98.5 The Sports Hub, you know him as Sarge, Mike Riley. Mike, how's it going?
Hey, good guys. How you doing?
We're doing well. We've had some time to recover now, some time to process the loss last week. And as we look at what's next, it's become kind of known in New England that Bill Belichick, when he's evaluating players over the course of the year, he uses the final game of the season as 50% of that player's yearly evaluation. That being said, in your mind, after that Super Bowl, who should be worried the most?
Wow. Probably anybody on the defense. I mean, the pass rush especially, not able to get to Alex Foles, and just the third downs. That was the backbreaker for the Patriots. You know, that first quarter, even the first drive for Philadelphia, they had 2 third downs, and I believe in the first series, I think it was the first or second series, 3rd and 12, and, hopes are up like, all right, this is good. Stop him. Next thing you know, Alshon Jeffrey goes 20 yards down the field, burns him for a big first down. It kind of set the tone for the whole game there. So not able to get to Foles, definitely anybody on the pass rush. And I wouldn't go so far on the secondary so bad, because the situation where Eric Rowe was thrown in there for Malcolm Butler, just kind of next man up. But really, the pass rush really needs to be reevaluated over the next few weeks as we get into free agency now.
So you talk about not blaming the secondary. Eric Rowe was put in a situation that he might not have been prepared to be in. So do you put this loss on Belichick more so than the actual players?
Yeah, and it's easier said than done now because he's no longer here. But I'd also put it on Matt Patricia. I really believe that Patricia had mentally checked out before this game because, he already knew he had the job in Detroit. And maybe it's just me, but I don't like how other teams are able to communicate with coaches while the season is still going on. And I get it. It's a business. If they did wait till after the Patriots season were over, they may not be able to get to Patricia or McDaniels or whoever. So they had to do it. I understand how it works. But I think that Matt Patricia had checked out. I don't think he prepared as well as he should have for the Eagles, especially the receivers who torched the Patriots. Secondary, the Rose situation coming in there for Malcolm Butler. Yeah, he had a pretty good regular season, not taking anything away from him there. But, when it came to reality here in this situation, he did not perform. And that's why they had to make that move there to put Gilmore on Alshon Jeffrey, which eventually kind of shut him down. But it torched the Patriots for the majority of that first half. So, yeah, coaches put it on them, but mostly I put this loss on Matt Patricia at the defense.
So do you think Matt Patricia was on board with sitting Butler? Because for me, I feel like that was a Belichick decision, and Patricia was just working with what he had. Are you saying that this was something that was unanimously voted on with the coaches?
I think it was a Belichick decision, but I also think if Matt Patricia, because he knew he was going to Detroit, just pull Butler off the sideline and put him right in there yourself, because you got nothing to lose. He's not going to be disciplined by Bill Belichick. Just go ahead and do it. You have nothing to lose. You already have a job. It's not like you're trying to elevate yourself with the Patriots. I would have done that. I mean, it was the best case scenario for all parties involved, especially Butler and the team to win. Not saying that would have been the difference maker, but certainly would have helped.
I haven't heard that take before.
Right.
thank you for opening my mind to that possibility, because I had not thought of that. Right? He's on the way out the door. That? Who cares?
Ride it, yeah, exactly. Yeah. You know, it's one thing if he were a rookie coach. Hell no, you don't do that. But he's already got a job. Nothing to lose. Nothing.
So again, we're talking
Who's saying he's going to be coaching with Belichick now?
What was that?
I said, who's saying he'll be coaching with Belichick again?
Exactly, right? Yeah, just, go out on top and then ask for forgiveness later.
That's it. Yep, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're good. Just want to remind everybody we're talking with Mike Riley from 98.5 The Sports Hub, who was also a featured member of the Tom vs. Time documentary. Congratulations on that.
Gentlemen, I was pleasantly surprised. That was a lot of fun. Episodes 1 and 2.
Did they give you any?
It was pretty cool.
Did they give you any notification, or were you just watching and that's my voice?
Yeah, what happened was I was in a meeting when the first episode debuted, and I had to run to the restroom, and I pulled my phone out, and my phone is blowing up. Like, holy cow, you're in the Brady documentary. I'm like, what are you talking about? And then I just looked into it and saw it, and yeah, it was pretty cool. It was really, and then I heard Gotham Chilpers on the director with Zolak and Bertrand during the Super Bowl, and they asked him straight up. They said, "Do you know Mike Riley?" And he said, "No, not personally, but I know his work." And that was quite an honor to hear that. So it's pretty cool. One of the highlights of my career, boys.
I mean, to be right there with Tom Brady, hard for it not to be. And then he goes and has what some people are saying the greatest Super Bowl performance of all time, even though the team lost. How does seeing him do that on the biggest stage, how do you think that affects the team, how the team goes about making personnel decisions this offseason?
Well, Brady, my God, you want to talk about someone that is a warrior. It's Tom Brady. I mean, he's 40, he's going to be 41 next year. And the way he's playing right now, he's playing like a 31-year-old. So definitely, yeah, we know the window is shutting sooner than later for Brady. So at this point, go all in for him. You've got to go all in. And all the stuff that happened with Garoppolo and the trade there and the Patriots putting their faith in Brady here on out, it's time to do whatever you got to do for him. And I thought that they did restock last offseason for him. Brandon Cooks making the trade there and helping every which way they could for him, even defensively with Gilmore. And a couple more pieces there. The pass rush now is the next step for Tom Brady to get the 6th ring. And I really believed last year that I said this after they won the 5th Super Bowl. I said the next Super Bowl Brady wins, he'll retire. But, they had as good a chance as anybody this year to do it, and that just didn't happen. And I still think he would have played, and that my opinion changed on that after the Garoppolo thing. So you got to go all in for Brady now or never, and this is the time.
And from one legend to a Boston legend to another, you were helping cover the Paul Pierce jersey retirement Sunday after the team lost to the Cavs. Do you know why they did that after the game? Because I feel like having a 30-point loss in your brain, it kind of takes away from the ceremony a little bit. Why didn't they do it before the game like every other jersey retirement?
All right, so usually what the Celtics do and what they have done in the past for the jersey retirements, they do it at halftime. And to Paul Pierce's credit, a guy that you're probably talking, he's right below Larry Bird. He's right up there with Larry Bird, I should say that. I'm sorry. Him and Larry Bird are the two latest Celtics that deserve an honor that he got there. Bird had his own night, which was like 3 hours long. Pierce had a post-game ceremony, which was 1 hour, which is still remarkable, incredible. 3:30 game. Yeah, I guess you could have got people in there ahead of time at 2:30 or whatever. But I think where they figured with the national TV, what if someone were talking a little too long and, you have to kind of cut them off, and then you get delayed with warm-ups and everything. So it just, I think it was a perfect scenario. The Celtics handled it great. I tip my cap to them for that one. You know, in fact, I give them a salute for that one. How's that? You know, they did it perfect. Because what if Danny Ainge was talking a little longer than he should have talked? That was all that stuff you heard there from those guys. Ainge, Doc Rivers. Who else spoke? Help me out here. I'm trying to think. You got the video tribute.
Garnett spoke, right? Did he?
I think he may. I don't think he did. But I'm just saying, all that
right.
stuff there was substance. It was all from the heart. In a situation like that, if you had to do it earlier, either at halftime where you're definitely, you know, under the gun with a clock on national TV, and then a pregame thing where you have a little more leeway and maybe a little more under the gun, it's not as effective as it was in a postgame situation. I thought it was perfect. I have no objection to that. Great job by the Celtics.
And of course, before that, Alex already alluded to it, the Celtics got crushed by the Cavaliers. The Cavaliers traded something like 6 players at the deadline and kind of just retooled their team. How do those moves change the outlook of the Eastern Conference, in your opinion?
Oh, man, I'll tell you, before that trade deadline, I thought the C's were locked to, you know, make it a good run in the Eastern Conference Finals. And, you know, I'm not saying they won't get back there, but I don't think they're going to make it out of there because you got a big roadblock now with the Cavs here. And that's just one game now with this new, or 2 games really, with the new staff in place. And they are on fire. You know, and good for them having the, you know, pulling the trigger to say bye to Derrick Rose. They got, and even Isaiah Thomas. And why am I blanking on the new guy there? Who was it? Rondi? Why am I blanking on the new guy? Good, thank you, yeah. Unbelievable. He played out of his mind. Mm-hmm. He's going to be a force to reckon with. And anyone to be associated with LeBron, you know you're always in the hunt to be a championship contender. And this may be the best Cleveland team since they beat Golden State a couple of years ago to potentially take them down in the finals.
And the Celtics have now lost 3 of 4. After Marcus Smart had his injury punched a picture, whatever, I don't think we even got a clear answer, but people are talking about his value bottoming out, possibly being traded. Now the Celtics are struggling without him. What does this losing streak say about Marcus Smart and how important he is to this team?
Well, you know, the Marcus Smart thing, as a fan, I'm still really upset with how he did that. He, you know, that was a selfish thing, and he ruined that. Ruined a good thing that was going for the team right there. He put his team in jeopardy of now losing, and that's not good. That's very selfish. So yeah, he's a great player, and that's where I wish Danny made a move at the trade deadline. And I know that he doesn't want to give up those draft picks. I get it, but go ahead. If you want to compete with the big boys, look what Cleveland did there at the trade deadline. Make a move, and don't be afraid to trade Marcus Smart. I think he's one of the most overrated players in the NBA. I really do. I think he's good, but I think he's overrated, and they overvalue him for what he does. You know, you look at a guy like Terry Rozier, comes off the bench, plays his heart out. That guy is the kind of guy that deserves a contract extension. I know he's due for one, but why are we wasting our money on Marcus Smart where you give it a guy like Rozier who's going to play lights out every time? And, you know, even Jason Tatum was playing great at 19. The future for him is so bright. Jaylen Brown, I love the core they have. If you're going to have a core like this with these guys, don't be afraid to make a move, and they failed on that at the trade deadline there. And I would not have been afraid to put Marcus Smart out there for an offer sheet to say, hey, listen, he's available. What can we get? And don't be afraid to maybe give up one of your first-round draft picks. In the end, you want to win, you get to win now, right?
Right, and they'll have to do with this group going forward. It seems like at this point, buyout market's starting to dry up and obviously past the trading deadline. He is Mike Riley from 98.5 The Sports Hub. You can follow him on Twitter at Sarge985. Mike, thanks for coming on and taking the time today.
Blue check mark.
Blue, is that new?
Blue check mark.
I'm just noticing that. Is that new?
No. No, for about a year and a half now. Yeah, a year and a half. By the way, a hot take for you. I really didn't think this was going to happen, but Gordon Hayward will make a return at some point this year. Get ready.
Is that just educated guess, or have you heard something?
50-50.
Interesting. Okay.
On the fence. I like it.
50-50. But I don't know. It just all indications here are that he's going to be back. It looks like he's making a good recovery. Even if he doesn't come back, I'm okay with that. I want to pull 100% Hayward for next year, But I think he's going to make a return at some point, maybe even early April. Get ready.
All right.
Okay.
Sarge putting it on the line right there.
Hope you're right.
Possible return of Gordon Hayward. Again, follow him on Twitter for more Hayward's up. Blue check mark Mike Sarge Riley at Sarge985. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, guys, as always, you're going to do it. Go ahead. Right hand, 45-degree angle, right at your right eyelid. There you go. You got the salute of the day. Guys, thank you very much. Great job as always.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Calling It is brought to you by American Broadcast Coaches, training the next generation of media talent and communicators. For more information, check out AmericanBroadcastCoaches.com.
Welcome back to Calling It, powered by CLNS Media. Alex Barth, Alex Lebowitz with you as we now enter the post-football phase of the program. Let's buckle up, and like we talked about there with Sarge, wild NBA trade deadline. This is normally our Celtics/Bruins segment, but let's be honest, Bruins are in cruise control. They're probably the hottest team in hockey, and they're going to be, I'll say this right now, they're going to make a deeper playoff run than the Celtics are. So we'll have plenty of time to talk about them in June. Okay. Let's stick it to the NBA trade deadline right now as it pertains to the Celtics and the Cavs, because did anybody else make a move on Thursday besides Cleveland?
It doesn't seem like
what the hell was that?
That was crazy. I've never seen a team do something like that where they have such a turnaround, but they had to do it. I like it. What they did was essentially go into it with the mindset of LeBron's probably out after this year. We need to cut the fat right now and give us the best chance to win this season. And they did that. And I think, if anything, they improved their chance of retaining LeBron. I don't think it will happen, but that definitely helps. The fact that they made all these moves, and it pushes them over the top ahead of the Celtics.
Do you think they helped their chances to retain him because obviously, Los Angeles is a potential top landing spot for him? And they made Los Angeles a lot more realistic landing place for him. They now have more cap money to work with. I mean, that's pretty much, they have more cap money to work with. That's all they need to get LeBron, right? They have 2 max deals now. They can go get LeBron and Paul George.
Well, this is where I think it helps them out. And I'll just ask you this question. Do you think LeBron James will have as much power on any other team as he does with the Cleveland Cavaliers right now?
I think there are other teams he could have just as much power, yes, but the Lakers are not one of them.
And any team that he'd be willing to sign with is not going to be one of them, I think.
I don't know about that. I think if he went to Philly, he could pretty much control things. I know this is kind of an under-the-radar rumor. If he went to Oklahoma City, he could, be the puppet master. But, the other Los Angeles, no. Obviously not Golden State. There are teams he could go, but you're right. None of the spots that he's going to be contending for a championship right away, like contending for a championship right away. He's always going to be contending. He's LeBron, but no, that is a good point. Magic's not going to let him boss him around.
Exactly. So, Isaiah Thomas is not with the Cavaliers, not necessarily because Altman wanted to trade him, not because Gilbert wanted him out. It's because LeBron wanted him out.
Oh, LeBron didn't just want him out. LeBron hated him.
Oh, yeah, it was a rivalry.
Hated him.
Yeah, and I get it.
Wild.
And that's another, we don't want to get too deep into that, but Isaiah Thomas, boy, what a turn he's taken this season.
I wanted to talk about that because he goes from being a Celtics hero a year ago. I think it was a year ago today. He had his first 50-point game with the Celtics.
Yeah.
Right, we record this on Monday, so that'd be the 12th. He was the guy in Boston, and then he goes to the Cavs, where obviously, he just becomes a nuisance. And now in L.A., Celtics fans have to root against him because they have that pick. Now he's a hero every time he loses.
Yeah.
So talk about a turn. And he's going to be out. He's not going to be in L.A. next year. I'll tell you that right now. He's going to move again.
Don't Celtics fans already kind of not like him?
I think it's split. Look, I appreciate everything he did with the Celtics. I think he's got guts, right? The whole thing with his sister was incredible for him to play after that, and just playing his style at his size. He's very fun to watch when he's on, but I do think he gets a bit of a big head. I do think he believes he's better than he is, he's more valuable than he is, and that can get frustrating.
Yeah, and I just think it's the constant comments and bickering and shots at Danny Ainge for doing something that benefited the Celtics immensely.
But notice he doesn't do that when he's winning.
Yeah.
Right? He only does. He's a front runner. And that's what that Celtics team last year was. Him, Jay Crowder, they were front runners. When everything was going well, they were the most fun team in the world. But the second things went against them, it would be one bad foul, an open miss, whatever, hands going up, shoulders down, chirping at officials, chirping on Twitter.
Chirping to the media about his own team.
Right. So, I mean, he's a front runner. We knew that. And I wouldn't be surprised if he does with Los Angeles what he did with the Celtics when he first arrived at the trade deadline. That team could go on a run. He was great, even though they lost against Dallas. He was awesome in that game.
Well, think about it. It's a younger – Tyronn Lue's someone you can walk all over. He's a young coach. But Luke Walton, another young coach on a very young team where he's going to have a leadership role.
Well, let's see what happens when Lonzo gets healthy, because only one of them can start, apparently. I think they'd be –
No, I think they both could start.
Everybody's talking like it's one or the other, and that the Lakers don't want them both on the floor at the same time, although I think that's a pretty good backcourt.
I do too, yeah.
Although the question is, do you play Isaiah Thomas off the ball, which he doesn't like to do, or do you play Lonzo Ball off the ball, and then, I mean, there's no point in having him on the floor.
Yeah, you got to play Isaiah off the ball in that situation. Lonzo's the pass-first guy.
And then does Isaiah get upset? Okay, I guess I see where the issue is there, but that's good. That's going to – look, Isaiah Thomas versus LeVar Ball is going to be must-watch television.
It's going to be incredible.
It's a step down. You know what? I guess it's a good sign that LeVar's going away because November was what, like 5 months ago? Less than that, like 3 months ago, right?
Yeah.
3 months ago, he was feuding with the President of the United States, and now he's down to Isaiah Thomas. So maybe the LeVar effect's starting to go away a little bit there.
I hope so. I think the fact that he's in Lithuania is definitely playing a factor.
That's true.
But I don't know. I think Isaiah, he's going to want a lot of money this offseason. I don't think he's definitely not re-signing with the Lakers. It makes no sense for them to sign him. And, maybe he's a $15 million a year guy.
I think that's about right.
That's not what he's going to want.
No, they back up the Brinks truck, right?
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about. But, yeah, he's going to be one of the last free agents to sign because I think he's really going to hold out. Look, maybe some team gets dumb. I just hope they bring back the Sonics. For him.
Yeah.
If any of, and I hope they bring back the Sonics for a million reasons, but if anything else, just let Isaiah Thomas go be Gary Payton. It's all he wants to do.
He really does. But it's just the downfall is it's really just depressing to see. And I keep going back to this, but it's funny how whenever something like this happens, and it's happening with Jay Crowder too, which is going under the radar. It's this counterbalance of Danny Ainge looks super smart. He looks like a genius, and these people look like absolute morons, and their true values being exposed.
Oh, Danny Ainge just buries people.
Oh yeah,
right. You don't come back. You don't leave the room after Danny Ainge. He's gonna He's gonna get what he needs out of you, and nobody sees you again.
Yeah,
he's ruthless, and it's all. And talk about Jay Crowder going to Utah. And remember the whole issue with Gordon Hayward last year when he got the applause in Boston. And Jay Crowder got upset.
Oh, my God.
Well, I'm sure when Gordon Hayward goes back to Utah, he's going to get applause again. So Jay Crowder's going to have to deal with that now, which he clearly doesn't like.
That's a good point. He might get booed, though. Who knows about Gordon Hayward?
I just remember, too, you said the thing about LeVar being in Lithuania. Didn't we have somebody on our show? I forget who it was, but leading up to the draft. Oh, you weren't here for the draft.
Yeah, I don't think I was.
Somebody was on the show. I forget who it was, but they said that the solution to drafting Lonzo Ball is convince some team in China or Russia or Kazakhstan or Spain or whatever to sign LeVar Ball to a contract so you get him overseas and out of the picture.
Okay,
and that actually worked. It turned out that actually happened. I got to go back and look up who that was because that came true.
It might have been Torres. Aaron Torres.
It might have. No, because that was. Oh, no, you were here for the draft.
Yeah, I was.
Maybe it was Aaron Torres.
But
I got to go back and look.
Hey, and it's working. How much have you heard from the guy recently? So I don't know. We've kind of gone all over the place. The main point is
right. I want to. No, go ahead.
Isaiah Thomas. It's depressing to see his downfall because you got to respect him, but he just keeps opening up his damn mouth, and it's too much, way too much.
And let's bring it back to the main topic at hand now. The Cavaliers reloaded. They got some good pieces. Rodney Hood, Jordan Clarkson. Are you changing your Celtics prediction at all? Mine was they lose to the Warriors.
Yeah, I was never set on them going to the finals because LeBron in the playoffs is a different animal. I think this right now makes me more confident that the Cavaliers are going to reach the finals, not the Celtics. But this has been my point really since last season. The objective for this Boston Celtics team is not to win the finals this year. It's to win the finals in 2 years, in 3 years, maybe even next year. This is a building year. You have a really young team, and you're going to be together for a while. You don't need to win the finals this year. Just get better. And I think they're going to do that, and they are doing that.
I'd like to see them get there, though, to get the young guys the experience. I'm still not sold on Cleveland. I think it was an emotional high for LeBron in Boston. He finally gets his new team around him. I think that was a very easy game for the Cavs to show up for. Let's see what happens when they're on the road on a Tuesday night in Chicago, in Sacramento, in San Antonio. I don't know why I'm rhyming cities. Let's see if they can get up for that game, because
Orlando,
and that's another very good example. Let's see LeBron get up for that game, because those are the games he hasn't been getting up for this year. So look, Sunday night national TV in Boston. Paul Pierce night has his new team. Super easy game to show up for. We'll see if he can do that on a consistent basis.
I don't think they're getting the 1 seed. I think the Celtics will get the 1 seed.
And I think that's locked up.
I don't think LeBron James is going to play like he would against Sacramento on a Tuesday night during the playoffs.
I just think they could work themselves into a danger. There are teams that match up well with them. In addition to the Celtics, I think they could work themselves into a dangerous matchup. Speaking of showing up on the weekends, you had an awesome weekend on Twitter.
Thank you, sir.
We'll recap that next. Don't go anywhere. This is Calling It, powered by CLNS.
Calling It is brought to you by American Broadcast Coaches, training the next generation of media talent and communicators. For more information, check out AmericanBroadcastCoaches.com.
Welcome back to Calling It. I am Alex Barth. You can follow me on Twitter at RealAlexBarth. He is Alex Lebowitz. You can follow him on Twitter at Alex_Lebowitz, and give him a follow, because you went to war this weekend, my friend.
I was angry. I'm an angry guy, so I had to vent, and I did that. I sat down on my couch for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, just going through Twitter, just be like, I hate this, I hate that, I hate this. This is pissing me off, and got a lot of interactions. It was fun.
It started Friday night. When you said, let's see, this was Friday. This was 8 a.m. So you woke up angry. The Olympics is dumb. First of all, grammar are dumb, plural, right?
It's an event, so it's a thing. It's not the Olympic.
I think it's R. All right, if you tweet at us at Calling the Podcast, if you know.
I think it is, because it's an event. It's a singular thing, because it's an event. So if it was like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of something plural that'd be dumb. But I think it's a singular thing, because it's one event. I mean, it's multiple events within one thing, but it's one mega.
No, because the NBA Finals are bad. You wouldn't say the NBA Finals is bad. Maybe
the NBA is dumb, but it's a bunch of teams, or it's a bunch of
maybe. All right, anyway,
that's not an equivalent.
The Olympics is dumb. I don't care about curling or bobsledding, and neither do you. Telling the people exactly what they think. The IOC sucks, and we actually have real sports to watch in the States. Those of you who act interested in the Olympics only do it out of peer pressure. Not a big Olympics guy.
I'm an anti-Olympics guy.
And then you had a couple people come after you for your anti-curling takes. Yeah. Look, I'll agree with you on this. I have been so checked out on the Olympics, mostly because there's no NHL players. And men's hockey is the best of – I like the Summer Olympics better than the Winter Olympics as a whole. Mm-hmm. But men's hockey is the best event, because it's an NHL All-Star game that people actually try in.
Oh, yeah. If the NHL allowed their players to play in the Olympics, I would be watching the Olympics. But they don't. So it stinks. I don't want to see 32-year-old Chris Bork, who's an AHL journeyman, put his skates on, lace him up, and go out there and play, South Korea, which has 0 professional players or whatever. I don't know if that's true, but it's brutal. It's just brutal.
I had a lot of fun in the last Olympics, which were in Russia, getting up I think I got up at like 5 a.m. for one of those games, right? But that was a lot of fun, because we all got together. I was in college at the time, and we all, made breakfast, liquid breakfast, and watched the U.S., and it was a good time. I'm not getting up at 7 a.m. on a Saturday for Chris Bork, even if he did win a Stanley Cup with the Bruins.
Yeah.
And they talk about growing the game so much with hockey. It's surprising that they kind of let this opportunity go to the wayside.
Oh, yeah, it's so stupid.
So then you went on this tangent. Somebody named Jackson Roberts called you out for. Well, you called him out first?
No, he called me out, and he doesn't follow me, by the way. So there's a long backstory here. I won't get into the details. He blocked me on Twitter a while back.
So there's a history here.
There is a history here, for sure. For no good reason. I took a small jab at him on Twitter, and he calls me insane here. I'm on cloud insanity. That's what he uses.
So just to catch everybody up, Jackson, I like the Olympics. If you think for a millisecond that people are pressured into watching,
no, if you think for
sports,
a nanosecond,
that you think people are pressured into watching the sports aren't real. It's time to float down from your cloud. You then said, what if I think for a millisecond Jackson Roberts is a baby?
No, Jackson Roberts' baby. So that's another thing. That's kind of an inside thing. I tweeted that out just for my friends.
Okay, so that's an inside joke, but you go back and forth, and basically you drag up this old quote that apparently at one point Jackson Roberts claimed that 1999 Pedro Martinez, who struck out in order, let's see if I can do this, Barry Larkin, Larry Walker, Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire. Did I get that right?
Yeah, and I think Barry Bonds.
5 of 6. Bonds he started with 4 straight strikeouts and 5 of 6.
Yeah.
But that Pedro Martinez would struggle with the 2016 Royals
2015,
lineup.
I messed up on the year.
Still.
Yeah.
Insane take. Insane take. That is the greatest pitcher of all time, arguably. So you went to war on that. You then brought up the very interesting opinion, out of nowhere, that 280 characters was a plus for Twitter, a widely panned move.
Yes.
And you are pro. So you are anti-Olympics, but you are pro 280 characters on Twitter.
Oh, absolutely. It's cut down on threads, not really. But
no, they made threads easier.
They did make it easier. For me, it makes me, I get to dive into something more so, and I don't have to.
As we saw this weekend.
As you saw this weekend. And I don't have to cut my thoughts off halfway or simplify them. I get to actually, expound on these things. So I'm a big 280 character guy.
Look, I think adding the characters has actually been good. I think 280 was a little too much still. But you're right. Nobody's really talked about the change, and maybe that means people do like it and they just don't want to admit it. Then you talked about Christian Fourier. Look, WEI was a mess over the weekend.
Yeah, they had a bad week.
I work part-time at 98.5. I'm actually wearing a 98.5 t-shirt right now, so I'm just going to I got to work later, so I'm just going to step aside on that one, but they had an interesting weekend.
Yep.
Talked about Mike Pence sitting for the North Korean anthem. I'll say this, those North Korean cheerleaders are creepy. I know people like them. They're so creepy.
Yeah, it's not their fault. They're fearing for their life.
No, but it's just like any kind of like group, like mass of people all doing the exact same thing. It looks weird to me.
Does North Korean leadership think that makes them look like we're stable? Like that like what is it supposed to give off? Obedience?
There's a high level of coordination to that. I just think it's like I think the wave looks weird. Honestly,
I hate the wave.
It's like the wave. Just I don't know. I think Look, nothing against North Korea being there, whatever. We'll get to that in a minute because you touched on that. But I thought the North Korean cheerleaders were really weird.
Yeah.
I then got in the fray. I tweeted out that I think this was after Yu Darvish signed with the Rangers.
Yep.
I think that now that the free agent market will maybe get going, that the Red Sox should just be done with JD Martinez and go after Jake Arrieta. I still believe that today.
And I don't necessarily disagree with that. I think they should be done with JD Martinez. I don't know if they need Jake Arrieta. If he's there for the right price, I'd go for him.
Look, if they're willing to pay that money to Martinez, just flip it and give the same contract to Arrieta. I'm fine with that.
He's 32 now, Arrieta?
30. He's 31 when the season starts. He'll be 31. So 5-year deal, that's what you have to give a pitcher that age.
Yeah, and in year 3, that's going to be a good deal.
Right. And you know what? I still don't trust their rotation as much as I trust their starting lineup. I know they lack power, but their rotation to me is a mess. And Arrieta's done something nobody else in the organization has done. And that's win a playoff game.
Yeah.
So I did get a thought emoji from Alex Lebowitz for that. You then talked about Kim Jong-un's sister being at the Olympics. Look, I don't want to get into all the political stuff, but
it's not okay. I'm just going to say it's not political to get mad that people are talking about the Kim Jong-un family.
Right. It is a little weird that people are kind of saying, "Oh, look at them. They're like normal." They're not normal.
Nope. They murder people. They have slaves. Literally.
Right, and I'm not saying North Korean people are normal. Like what Kim Jong-un does isn't normal.
North Korean people are not normal because they are censored. They have no culture.
Right, no, it's not their fault.
It's not their fault. Right. They're held down by their own government.
Then you went off on somebody.
Well, there was also I added to my Olympics point saying that the Olympics is essentially a mega event that enables these corrupt countries from putting out their own propaganda, which is 100%.
I thought that was a good take. Apparently, then there was a discussion over the weekend whether or not David Price was likable,
and then people,
which is a banana land discussion.
Oh my God,
he is not.
He's not, and people, and this is Feidelberg from Barstool Sports saying, "What sports talk radio told you to think this way?" No, the guy told the Hall of Famer to F off, and also has been one of the biggest underperformers in Red Sox history. The guy is completely unlikable, and he's a clown. So yeah, I don't like him, and it's not because Kirk Minahan told me not to.
No, I don't like him because he's nasty in the locker room. He's nasty to reporters. He's costing the team a boatload of money. He opted in, right? He opted in this weekend, I think, is kind of where that all came from. He could have maybe gotten out of his contract, but apparently we didn't make him miserable enough. Mm-hmm. You like, we're going to get into this a lot this summer. We all know where I stand on David Price.
Oh, yeah.
I think it is bonkers.
And this is the third year.
People talked about him being likable.
This is the year where he can opt out if he wants to. We'll see.
No, he just opted in.
Oh, he opted in?
I think it was over the weekend. Yeah, it was before the third year, yeah.
Oh, jeez.
So he's here. He's here. And he's going to get Tommy John. He's going to have 2 bad starts in April. Want to quit. Want to get out of the spotlight.
And then he's going to miss.
Call up the elbow again, right? Remember from last year, and he's going to get Tommy John. And again, they need to sign Arrieta, or a starting pitcher, a capable starting pitcher.
I'd be for in that situation. That was the crux of it. I kind of repeat myself a little bit.
Was that pretty much it?
The Eagles fan, I tweeted about how they destroyed a car with the New England.
No, I got one more.
Okay.
That Skip Bayless's wife's name is Ernestine. What the hell was that tweet?
I think it's Ernestine. Is it Ernestine or Ernestine?
Why does Skip Bayless miss Stephen A that much that he's just like his wife's just like, I thought that was nice, LeBron. How many times do I have to tell you, Stephen A? Oh, I made lasagna for dinner. Lasagna ain't no spaghetti and meatballs, Stephen A. Like, this dude has lost his effing mind.
Oh yeah, I think he can pay for therapy though. He gets plenty of money.
Yeah,
he's Ernest. It doesn't surprise me though, given the type of guy he is. Skip and Ernest.
I'm surprised he's married. He works he locks himself in a hotel room during the week to prep for that show.
Does he?
Yeah. So I don't know how he's married.
Jesus, what is he? Heath Ledger preparing for Dark Knight?
I think that's somewhat his. There was an article about it a couple years ago. I think that's more or less his process.
It's a method actor of sports media.
Because he lives in New York City, but actually he might not anymore because he was living in New York City. He'd stay in hotels.
No, you know what he does? I think I read about this. He lives in L.A., but he's on New York time, so he gets up at 3 a.m. Because
he's a lunatic.
You have to be.
All right. Well, that was Alex Lebowitz's weekend on Twitter. If you want to disagree with any of those takes, the tweets are still up there. You are not somebody who should delete tweets. Please don't tell me you're that guy.
I'll never. If there's a spelling
typos are different. That's fine. But so if you want to go call him out at Alex_Lebowitz, you follow me as well at Real Alex Barth. Follow the show at Calling It Podcast. You can catch the show on our Twitter, also on clnsmedia.com and at CLNS Media. We'll be back next week. Pitchers and catchers will have reported it is baseball time. College basketball is heating up. The Masters are 2 months away.
Hello, friends.
I cannot wait for the Masters. All right, so we're going to be okay post football at least to start. We're going to be all right.
All right. It's about getting. Am I out?
Yeah, you're
okay.
You're,
I can't hear myself.
That was weird. Okay.
It's about getting through February. My birthday's in February. That's the only thing that gets me going. But it's the worst sports bunch of the year. Just
get me to the summer, and then
March Madness, and then it's spring. That's how I see it.
That's what you got to do, and then it's the NFL draft, and then we get to talk football again. So,
yeah.
Until next week, a lot to go before then. Until next week, he's Alex Lebowitz. I'm Alex Barth. Thanks for listening to Calling It, powered by CLNS.